The Prime Minister and NEMA officials addressed the nation on Hurricane Dorian.
A lot of communities and the residents who live in all of them urged to evacuate as Hurricane Dorian approaches.
Residents not taking any chances, flooding food stores and water depots preparing for Hurricane Dorian.
Our news is brought to you by Alive.
Welcome to our news and thanks for joining us. I'm Wani Toot. Topping news tonight, as Hurricane Dorian continues to strengthen, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis issued an evacuation order today for 3,000 residents in the Abacos and parts of Grand Bahama. Dorian is now a Category 3 storm and is expected to strengthen into a Category 4 hurricane by the time it nears those islands. Minnis warned residents not to be foolish. Jasmine Brown reports.
A lot was covered during that press conference. However, the central message was to brace for the worst.
At 4 a.m. on Sunday morning, Marsh Harbor area in Abaco, central Abaco, would begin to feel tropical storm force winds as Dorian continue moving toward the west. At about 11 p.m. Sunday night, it is anticipated that the center of Dorian will then move into east end Grand Bahama and continue moving westward along Grand Bahama throughout Sunday night into Monday morning.
Director of the National Emergency Management Agency, Captain Stephen Russell, explained just how serious an impact the storm is expected to have on islands like Grand Bahama and Abaco. He told our news team that current projections place the storm as a Category 4, with winds of 140 miles per hour when it reaches the Bahamas. Russell says the most dangerous part of the storm may be a surge of up to 15 feet.
As the hurricane approaches the islands of the northwest, it is anticipated to make a turn to the west and take it across the islands of Abaco and Grand Bahama. As the hurricane crosses these islands, it is projected to reach Category 4 with winds in excess of 140 miles and slow to a speed of almost 6 miles per hour.
Given what is predicted to be Dorian's devastating impact, Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis issued an evacuation order for the Abacos and parts of Grand Bahama, warning residents in those areas not to be foolish as the potentially life-threatening storm bears down.
Because of the danger posed by Hurricane Dorian, we must act quickly to protect lives, with particular emphasis on the residents of the Northwest Bahamas who are at the greatest risk.
According to Minnis, residents from the northern keys of Abaco and portions of low-lying areas on mainland Abaco should evacuate. He also urged Grand Bahama residents from West End, East End, Sweetings Key and Waters Key to move inland.
Sweeting Key, you are to evacuate. Waters Key, you too are to evacuate. Gold Rock Key, Gold Rock Key North and South, evacuate. Freetown, you are to evacuate. Pelican Point, you are urged to evacuate. Rocky Creek, you too are urged to evacuate. McLeanstown, Grand Key, Deepwater Key, Queens Cove are all encouraged to evacuate.
The Prime Minister also stressed those who choose not to voluntarily evacuate are placing their lives at risk.
Do not put your life and those of your loved ones at unnecessary risk. I urge you, do not be foolish and try to brave out this hurricane. The price you may pay for not evacuating is your life or serious physical harm.
As for if those evacuations will be paid for by the government, as was the case in 2017, Russell said no. However, he did say local airlines have increased their flights for residents who want to leave those islands ahead of the storm. Reporting for our news, I'm Jasmine Brown.
It seems not all East End residents are heeding the Prime Minister's warning to evacuate, though. While some of them aren't taking any chances, others say they are staying put. We go to Kyle Joaquin, who is riding out the storm in Grand Bahama. Kyle?
All right, Vonnie, I'm here at Grand Bahama International Airport, which actually closes tonight at 10 p.m. until after Dorian passes. The last flight leaves the island tonight at 8:45 p.m. Now, just before we got here, we had a word with a few residents of East Grand Bahama who were actually asked earlier to evacuate.
I hope for the best, man. We don't really need a storm now, because from Francis and Jane, man, we never recuperate. Grand Bahama has never recuperated from Francis and Jane.
79-year-old Bishop says he's operated his beach club and restaurant for over 30 years now in High Rock, East Grand Bahama. He said he's seen many storms come and go, but has never evacuated his property. And he doesn't plan to start now.
Swinsky, McLeanstown, and Pelican Point is very low, and it's wise to evacuate the area and stuff like that. But here, where I'm at here, I don't worry about the surge from the ocean. I worry about the wind and the rain, you know. That's give you the most problem, and the debris that comes up.
But he's just one of many living in East Grand Bahama urged to seek higher ground or evacuate. Sherelle Kemp lives not too far from him in High Rock and says she's not moving either.
Yeah, I stay in here. I can ride this one out. And some of the people, they go in the free board to better grounds, you see. But I can stay right here.
Why'd you decide to stay here in High Rock?
I can see it.
So you can see it?
Yeah. I love hurricane and being it sometime. Not all the time, and it's terrible. So I opened that one to break.
But you feel safe?
Yeah, I feel safe right here in High Rock.
In that same community remains a seawall left with extensive damage from Hurricane Matthew in 2016. That seawall now has residents concerned even more about the threat of a storm surge. But as Grand Bahamians brace for Hurricane Dorian, expected to be a powerful Category 4 storm when it slams the island, there are some like Mr. Coffee, who says he's not taking any chances. He's leaving.
We have a house in Freeport too, so we're just buttoning the hatches down in Pelican Point and going Freeport.
You're not taking any chances?
No. There's no sense, because it floods, the roads flood, so you can't get in or out. So if you get hurt or something, you're done. You're stuck.
So you think it's better just leave one time?
If you got the ability to do so, yeah, absolutely. Because then if you don't leave and you get in trouble, now you're going to tie up resources to go and get you and help you and all of this stuff to put other people in danger.
It was the same for Lawrence Cooper, the owner of Cooper's Restaurant in McLeanstown, East Grand Bahama. We caught him just as he placed the last sheet of plywood on his window. He too isn't taking any chances of staying in East Grand Bahama.
Well, you move forward and land. The reason for that, when the sea break, if you forward and land, the sea get more space to level out. You understand? That's why it is ask you to move forward and land.
So you heeding that warning, you're going to leave?
Yeah, man, hurricane dangerous.
But it's not just those who live in the East taking Dorian seriously. Over at Solomon's in Port Lucaya, people were getting their hands on last-minute supplies, including this man who traveled from Bimini just for non-perishable items.
The island is so small.
You came from Bimini just to go shopping?
Just to go shop, because, like, you know what I mean? Ain't nothing like that over there like that right now. The boats that come over there can't come over there, so we got to move, we got to migrate. Right. You know what I mean?
But came by plane or boat?
We came by boat.
All right.
before the storm.
Okay, how prepped are you for Hurricane Dorian?
How prepared am I? I'm very prepared. I filled up my tank. I filled up the bathtubs with water. I have all the water in containers to drink. I'm prepared.
Now again, the airport closes at 10 p.m. tonight. We will spend the entire storm here in Grand Bahama and will certainly keep you updated. But for now, reporting from Grand Bahama for Our News, I'm Kyle Joaquin. Back to you in studio.
Thanks so much, Kyle. Meanwhile, several residents in central Eleuthera say they're convinced Hurricane Dorian will pass them by and have minimal impact. As a result, many say they have done nothing to prepare. Jared Higgs was in Eleuthera today and filed this report.
Inside the offices of Airco Elite, an airport service company in Governor's Harbour, Eleuthera, McLean Pinder monitors the progress of Hurricane Dorian using the Windy app.
This is the hurricane right now, presently traveling towards the backside of the Bahamas.
Midday on Friday, the app predicts that Dorian's path will see it travel between North Eleuthera and Abaco. Based on this model, the storm will pass well east of Airco's Governor's Harbour offices with minimal impact on the settlement and its surrounding areas. Despite the scientifically backed information, Pinder says the weather can't be predicted.
You have to be cautious. So we've experienced so much hurricanes in Eleuthera, so we don't take chances anymore. We understand it could do anything.
It seems, though, that many in Governor's Harbor, Eleuthera, have placed their bets. They say the storm will stick to the windy model, staying well clear of them.
I am confident that we're going to just get some of the outer band stuff, like some wind and some rain and stuff.
47-year-old Naaman Roll should probably know better than to underestimate the unpredictability of a powerful hurricane. He was around 20 years old when Hurricane Andrew slammed Eleuthera in 1992, and he remembers how ill-prepared the island's residents were.
Before Andrew, everyone was pretty much lax and stuff like that when it came to hurricane, because like before that, most of us like my age and even younger, we never experienced no major hurricane. Ever since Andrew in 92 and Floyd in 99, Eleuthera people now take it serious.
If the storm does make a southward turn, it could mean trouble for Central and South Eleutherans. 60-year-old Stanton Cooper is another resident who doesn't think Dorian will be much of a concern. If things change, he and others say prayers will see them through.
If that happens, then we all going to get caught. But, you know, we're a praying nation, and we pray and we believe in God, and He'll take care of it.
I think everything is in God's hand. It's nothing that we can do. He already know. Like I say, it's praying time.
Are you concerned? Are you concerned for your safety?
Not really, because God keep us well kept.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Jared Higgs.
Here in New Providence, residents took that hurricane warning seriously, rushing to stock up on supplies. Giorgio Bain has that angle.
Residents taking no chance of running out of drinking water during the storm as lines wrapped around the building here at Chelsea's Choice.
As Hurricane Dorian moves slowly towards the Bahamas and is forecasted to be a Category 4 storm by the time of its arrival, residents here in New Providence hit the streets to get the necessary supplies. Over at Chelsea's Choice Operations Manager Sharman Jennings said business has spiked in the last 2 days, but they are fully prepared to handle the rush.
Like any other hurricane that we have, it's always a hectic moment, a busy moment for us. So we're just doing the best that we could.
Waiting on the long line, customer Erin Green told Our News how she's preparing for the potential impact of Hurricane Dorian.
Well, I'm out to get water for some elderly members of my family, as well as to make sure I have extra water in the house. But really, it's because I expect things to get far more chaotic than we've seen before.
Lillian Jones said that she thought she was ahead of the rush, so she was surprised to meet such a long line.
I've seen other hurricanes, and I know the rush, the trouble at the end, to go to stores and find things and go to lumber yards, so we got it all done early.
So were you surprised to meet the line this long already?
Yes, I thought it was early.
I tried to get water from earlier, but more reason than one I didn't get to. And I thought I could beat the rush this morning, but surprisingly, this is what it is.
Over at Solomon Supercenter, lines inside were not too long as customers purchased key items such as battery-operated fans and canned goods.
To-do list is just to get some supplies in case the hurricane come. We'll be prepared. And the lights is always off, so that's the reason why we bought the 2 fans.
Rushing to check everything off her to-do list, Ms. Roker said she doesn't want to get caught up in the last-minute rush as the storm seems unpredictable.
I just prefer to be prepared. I don't like to wait the last minute to do anything. I just prefer to be prepared and get it over with.
So you're taking the storm seriously?
Very seriously.
Over at Tops Lumber, General Manager Raymond Collins said while there hasn't been a rush just yet, they are fully stocked and will be open on Saturday for those last-minute shoppers.
I got a lot of plywood, had 3 trailers come in yesterday. So I think we're fully stocked. We've got shingles and everything that we need. As of right now, you can see it's pretty quiet.
Though Dorian is expected to take aim at Grand Bahama and Abaco, Green urged those New Providence residents who are not taking the hurricane warning seriously to be prepared.
Take it seriously, prepare yourself psychologically, right? Because we've reached a point for most people where their resources are extremely limited. They're focused on back to school. So prepare yourself psychologically. Understand that with the very basics you will survive.
Reporting for Our News, I'm Giorgio Bain.
And still to come, Dorian delays the opening of some schools, plus Emmanuel Osadebe dies at age 80. Stay tuned.